Here's a stat that should scare the sugar out of your coffee, which may not be a bad thing. More than 9 out of 10 adults in the United States are metabolically unhealthy, and most don't even know it. And at the root cause of that ticking time bomb, chronically high insulin levels. Yep, hyperinsulinemia, the silent driver of belly fat, brain fog, fatigue, and eventually diabetes, heart disease, and even many cancers. As a doctor trained in obesity, nutrition, and functional medicine, I've seen hyperinsulinemia wreck lives and improve lives once you learn how to reverse it. Today, we're diving into the top 5 foods that spike your insulin and what to eat instead. Plus, I'll reveal a few lesser-known insulin spikers you might not expect. So stick around. But before we look at your plate, let's look at your life, because insulin isn't just about what you eat, it's about how you live. Let me give you a few quick examples. Chronic stress. That stress hormone cortisol raises blood sugar, which raises insulin. So if your boss is a walking glucose bomb, we need to talk. Lack of sleep. One bad night of sleep and your insulin sensitivity can tank. It's like putting a blindfold on your pancreas. Inactivity, sitting all day, your muscles aren't soaking up glucose. And that leaves insulin doing all the work. What about your genetics? Yes, your genes matter. But guess what? Your fork is more powerful than your DNA. Medication, like steroids and antidepressants, they can raise insulin too. But of all of these levers, the one we pull every day, sometimes 3 times a day, is what we put on our plate. When you eat food, your insulin rises to help store that energy. But not all foods are created equal. Let's talk about the 3 main macronutrients. Fat causes almost no insulin response. Protein causes a modest insulin response, especially lean protein. Carbohydrates. These are the real insulin rock stars, and I don't mean that in a good way. Think of it like this. Fat knocks gently, protein rings the bell, carbs, they kick the door down. And when you look at a graph comparing these macronutrients, it becomes crystal clear. Carbohydrates trigger the biggest insulin response by far. So with that in mind, let's reveal the top 5 foods that spike insulin and what to eat instead. Number 1, breakfast cereals, especially the low-fat or heart healthy ones. The manufacturers tell you it's whole grain. They slap a heart on the box, but what's really inside, a blood sugar ambush. Here's the problem. These cereals are pulverized grains with added sugar designed to digest fast. That fast digestion dumps glucose into your bloodstream, forcing your pancreas to release a flood of insulin to mop it up. And yes, I'm even talking about those so-called healthy cereal like Raisin Bran or Cheerios. So if the average cup of Raisin Bran has 46 carbs, if you divide that 46 by 4, you get a whopping 11.5 teaspoons of sugar. That's a bigger spike on your glucose and insulin than you get from candy bars. That's not breakfast, that's dessert. Instead, try eggs scrambled in butter with spinach and goat cheese. You'll be fuller longer, your insulin stays low, and you won't crash at 10 a.m. One of my patients reversed her morning migraines just by ditching cereal. True story. Number 2, fruit juices. Yes, even the 100% natural ones. That so-called juice cleanse should be called an insulin tsunami. Fruit juice strips away the fiber, leaving only sugar, mostly fructose and glucose. Fructose goes straight to the liver, where it can be converted to fat and worsen insulin resistance over time. A small glass of orange juice has the same sugar as 1 to 5 oranges, and since it's liquid, it hits your system faster than chewing. Instead of drinking juice, swap juice for mineral water with lime or a homemade electrolyte drink. Many of the electrolyte supplements have flavors that can satisfy that sweet tooth if you have one. Your pancreas will breathe a sigh of relief. Number 3, white bread. And yes, whole wheat isn't much better. You might think you're doing better with whole wheat, but your insulin doesn't read marketing labels. It only responds to the glucose load. White bread is refined flour with almost no fiber, and whole wheat still spikes insulin due to its high glycemic index and starchy structure. In fact, 2 slices of whole wheat toast can spike insulin more than a Snickers bar in some people. Yep, I said it. Instead, lettuce wraps or even chaffles made from egg and cheese. And if you're really craving toast, try a thin slice of almond flour bread. Your glucose will barely blink. Number 4, rice, especially white, sticky, or instant rice. Rice is cheap, easy, and in many cultures a staple. But metabolically, it can be a huge problem. Sticky rice, like what you find in sushi, has an especially high glycemic index. Why? There's no fat, no fiber, all carb. That's a recipe for an insulin tidal wave. Even brown rice isn't much better. It just slows the spike down a bit. Instead, try cauliflower rice sauteed in butter or coconut oil. Want flavor? Toss in turmeric, garlic, and some herbs. One of my patients dropped 30 pounds just by replacing rice and potatoes with cauliflower rice. That one switch changed his life. Number 5, snack bars or granola bars. They say it's a protein bar, but if sugar is one of the top 3 ingredients, it's just a candy bar in gym clothes. Most bars are loaded with sugar, syrups, and dates. Yes, even the natural sugars. And with little flavor or fiber, it's a quick hit to your bloodstream. Some bars, even labeled keto, still spike insulin due to hidden sweeteners like maltitol or chicory root fiber. Instead, choose meat sticks, boiled eggs, macadamia nuts, or a homemade fat bomb with coconut oil or cocoa. Snack smart. If it tastes like dessert, it probably behaves like dessert metabolically. Now here's a quick lightning round of other insulin spiking surprises. Low-fat flavored yogurt. It's basically sugar with a probiotic label. Oatmeal. Yes, even heart-healthy oatmeal spikes insulin unless drowned in fat. Sugar-free foods. If they contain maltodextrin, your insulin still is in trouble. Artificial sweeteners. Sucralose and aspartame may spike insulin in some people via the gut or brain. Let's be real. Hyperinsulinemia is the root. Insulin resistance is the branch. And chronic disease is the rotten fruit. By changing the way we eat, reducing those insulin spiking foods, we can reverse the trajectory of obesity, type 2 diabetes, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and so many more. You don't need perfection. You need direction. Start with these 5 swaps. Your metabolism will thank you, and your future self might just send you a thank you note from the beach. And if you learned something new today, hit that like button so we can get this message out to more people stuck in the carb trap. Comment below. What food surprised you the most on this list? Or share what you think should have been in my top 5. And if you want to continue your journey towards metabolic health, check out the video on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe, because around here, we don't just treat disease, we treat root causes. I'll see you in the next video.